God, that requires far more effort. Right, well, it is currently past ridiculous clock in the morning. What time is it actually? It's quarter. It's quarter three. It is quarter three, and we just got out of Iron Man 3. Serendipitous, I can only say. Right, quick wrap for people who just want to know that it's a good film. Go and see it. If you liked any of the previous two, I would recommend it. And if you didn't like any of the previous two, then why the hell are you going to watch the third one in the series? That joke's been in my head for about 10 minutes. I can't find any problems. I couldn't think of any problems. However, I do have an issue with the execution of the thing. That's what bugged me. There is... I can see that. I am not quite in the camera. I should have moved the camera more towards the side.
Because we're both sat in the squishy backseat of your car.
Yes, I am stealing Brad Jones's bit for this, as everyone else has done. There was a problem in the execution. My immediate problem is in the execution, in that basically a lot of the poster, and this is okay. This is major spoilers. I am immediately leaping into the far deep end of the spoilers. They have set up, as you've probably seen, trailers, posters, everything, that the Mandarin is the main bad guy. The Mandarin is not the main bad guy.
But your DI series just leaked all over your car, and I'm really sorry.
Sorry! Oh, this always makes it more fun. But basically, the main bad guy is not the Mandarin. It's actually a guy who's introduced at the beginning, and then he turns into the Nuclear Man, who is never referred to as that, and I thought he was going to turn to Fing Fang Foom at one point because he breathes fire, which is... I can't remember these people's names. I'm not even going to bother. It's Kildren or something. I'm tired.
Kildren, you're tired and you're still only half on camera.
Yes, still want to. But no, it's just, other than that, I just have a slight issue with that execution because it just feels like they built that up so much with every trailer, with every poster, and then you basically find out he is actually a fake. Although I will give them credit because I get the obvious connection in that we in the world of the film they're meant to believe he's some grand terrorist, and then he turns out not to be, and that's how he's been presented in the trailers. Which, okay, I will give you, that is clever. That surprised me. The twist actually came out of nowhere. I was like, okay, that actually makes all the logical sense. But. I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed it for the same reason I've always enjoyed it, and that Robert Downey Jr. is great.
Sorry.
Stop messing with all the things.
Move closer.
I am close enough.
Okay.
If I get any close to the camera, people will turn the video off.
Okay.
That's why all my reviews are filled with white.
Yeah, but I'm tired and I don't look cute enough to be on full camera all the time. Oops.
But no, basically, I feel like anything that could be said about this film would just be rehashing anything that gets said about the first and the second. Although I will give them credit that it's not really a slugfest at the end in the same way. It's not two people in giant robot suits, like with the Obadiah Stane fight in the first film and whatever he is called in the second because it's Russian. I can't remember it. But it's much more sort of, there's a lot more thought. There's a lot more of Robert Downey Jr. having to think instead of just going, I will put on the suit and I will just break things. Which I will give them credit for because that's a clever way to do it. You have to be quiet. Because you can't remember if you've seen... You've seen the first one, you haven't seen the second.
I've seen the first one a while ago. But there must have been a reason why I don't remember it. I'm not entirely sure what happened, because normally I'm good with these things, but I don't remember seeing the first one, though I believe I have seen it.
Right. Well, as a person who can't remember the first second, let's not debate if you've seen it.
I haven't seen the second one, but I've seen Avengers.
Yeah, which is, I would say that if you haven't seen Avengers, then there are bits of this film, they basically bring up everything that happened in that film. They bring up the aliens attacking New York, and they bring up Tony going through a wormhole. They don't ever seem to address that he actually was probably dead for about 5 seconds, which I actually felt I actually kind of hoped they would bring it up.
They go into enough detail so you can kind of understand what happened in the Avengers, even if you've not seen the Avengers.
Yeah,
which is kind of good because it doesn't rule the plot of Avengers. So, you know, if you haven't seen the Avengers yet, what the hell have you been doing? You know,
Exactly the same.
crazy people.
True, it's the same.
Yeah, so I kind of
Um,
like that. But I found it really interesting how, like, they made him, like, really paranoid and having panic attacks
Yeah,
and
the
anxious stuff. Because that showed he was a real person.
yeah. Basically, if you think of his personality in the first two films, where he's very cocky and he's very self assured, in this film he starts off like that, and then the cracks begin to show. He begins to drop the facade, and you can just see that he has not been the same since New York, and it's really clever. I'll give them credit.
Look.
Because suddenly you have a person who's usually very self-confident, self-assured, and suddenly it's all crushing down around him. He cannot comprehend what's happening, and
Yeah.
it shows, because it's basically actually putting him back as he was in the first film. And actually think about it, if I can't think of it too well now, but if you were to look at the first film, look at this film, there will be some parallels.
Mhm.
There's stuff like him being in a situation where he needs to rebuild the suits, because that happens. Him requiring the help of someone else to do it. But this time, instead of someone who's older, it's actually someone who's younger. Who's helping him, and that he's then teaching this kid. Oh, and Jens Sid from the first film gets his cameo. He gets his, oh, I met you once. Do you not remember? It's like, oh. He appears. But the weirdest, the stupidest thing I think about this film, the really freaking idiotic moment, is the beginning of the film starts in 1999, and that's not the weird thing. It's the opening music.
I got to you.
The opening music to an Iron Man 3 is Eiffel 65's Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Da. I thought they'd put the wrong film on when they started, because I was sure that music shouldn't have been there. I would like it to remain in the 90s, thank you very much. I hate that song. It is one of the most repetitive, irritating pieces of shit I think has ever been put. Oh, actually, no. Most of the stuff now is the most repetitive shit. I hate that song. I hated that song in the 90s. I hate that song 10 years later, and I still don't care. But it truly is just like, you have no idea at first. It just comes on, it's out there, and you're like, okay, what's happening? And there's like, oh, right. It's about to be the year 2000. That makes perfect sense. I'm sure there were so many other irritating songs they could have possibly picked, because that song will be in my head all night, and I will hate them for it.
Oh, that reminds me. I want to ask a question. I don't think I'm stupid because but anyway, you know the American Patriot War Machine guy?
Yes.
Did he appear in the second one?
Yes.
Right, okay, because I thought he did, because I was like, I don't know him.
No, the confusing thing is, in the first film, it's not played by Don Cheadle, who plays him in the second and third.
Alright, okay.
Which there is I don't know if it's funny to anyone else who might have noticed this, but it's funny to me. In the first film, the guy who plays Rhodes looks at the armor and goes, "Next time." And it's just like, won't be for you though. Same character, but not the same actor. And it just seems funny to me. It's just like they've actually set themselves up to then replace him, and it's wonderful.
Unfortunately, the only thing I could think of was that because he's called the Patriot, the only thing I could think of was the Patriots from Bioshock Infinity. That was like going through my head, and I was like,
you haven't even played that game. We went through that game, and I'm amazed. I'm actually more amazed you're making that reference. But
I don't know why. I think it's just the Patriots.
Admittedly,
got to me.
Admittedly, he is a representation of American ideals and does have a huge ass gun. So really, yeah, the connection's there. It's just really, it's a really.
I was playing Bioshock 2 this afternoon.
I was playing a Bioshock Infinite last week. Played it, completed it twice.
Go you!
It's wonderful.
Yes. That's why I'm on 3.
Yeah. The film does well. It sets up a lot of subplots. You have the guy that sort of Tony spurns when he's young. This, because obviously the sort of flashback opening is before Iron Man 1, before he's learnt humility and he's learnt to respect. So he sends that. It's sort of very childish. It links in with his character because he sends the guy to the roof. He says, "Oh yeah, I'll come meet you on the roof to talk to you in like 5 minutes," and then he just leaves him. It's fun to see Robert Downey Jr. playing in the asshole version of Tony Stark for a little while, because otherwise you have to go back to the first film to see that. And it's funny because I swear he slips into Sherlock Holmes for a little bit when he's doing this sleuthing. He's putting pieces together of these bomb explosions, and I kind of just for a moment it's like, have we did the Sherlock Holmes? Is Jude Law going to appear and be kind of ineffectual? I like those films. But it's really it is a standard sort of plot. There's nothing new, I would say, that they really throw at you. Nothing I could think of. I will admit the end is a grand twist when you learn the Mandarin is not really the main evil. It's actually the head of AIM. Although of course, if you've read the comics, you go, "Oh, he's the head of AIM. Yes, he will be the bad guy." Admittedly, even straight away, he looks like a bad guy. First time he steps in through the door, it's like, yeah, he's working for the bad guys. I think I've seen Disney villains that look less evil than he does. just at moments, I'm just like, yeah, he's the bad guy. No,
he kind of like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I can't think of who it actually is. I can't think of who it actually is.
I think it's like the hairstyle. I think it was.
Yes.
I can't imagine Brad Pitt playing that role though. I think it might just be a bit too evil for him, kind of.
Let's try to think of other things now. There's a lot of the standard sort of one-liners in this. There
are some funny.
There are these standard moments. There's the same sort of jokes that have been great in the first and second films. They just sort of redo, but they redo them cleverly. You sort of know they're coming. You know things are going to happen. They never, he's testing out a new set of armor and it fails on him, and
that new suit's pretty.
Yeah, he's well known for coming up with a new suit usually. It's because
he's been stressed. So that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, there's a lot on sort of they play up the basically after New York that Tony flipped, that he's been very stressed and he's been planning and working because he knows that he is he knows that he is entirely outmanned and outnumbered and outpowered.
He has a girlfriend he wants to protect.
Yeah, but there is a fun moment in this film where it's just like at some point everyone will get to wear an Iron Man suit.
Oh, yeah.
It is the Oprah. It's like the Oprah Winfrey show of you get a suit, everybody gets a suit. It's like who hasn't worn it by the end of the thing is the game you really ought to play. I was like the main characters who hasn't worn the suit yet will be a fun game to play. Because I think only one of the properly main characters, other than the kid, didn't wear the suit. That's about it. Everyone else did at one point or another in one way, shape, or form. There was a really odd moment. This is actually two very odd moments of casting, but I don't think you'll recognize either. Basically, Tony at one point goes to investigate these bombings, and he starts talking to this woman who's the mother of the person who died, who's the person they've pinned the blame on. But what's weird is the woman they've got to play it is one of the people from the TV show My Name Is Earl, but it's Patty the daytime hooker, and I couldn't separate the two characters in my mind. I was just like, really? You've got a person who once played a daytime hooker, and you're trying to make her believable in this. I can't see it. It is that unfortunate problem. You have someone who's played a role and you're unfortunately well known for the role, and then you get that sort of situation. And but the other one was he's trying to hack into AIM. Tony always seems to hack in these films. He always hacks something. And basically, a person comes in and disturbs him, and he's like a big fan. And it's the guy who plays Max from Happy Ending. I was like, are they just getting lots of... There's like these people who sort of seem half like big stars, but they weren't. And I don't know. It just seemed really odd that two separate people from sitcoms that I've watched and enjoyed just seem to be popping up in this film. It's got to be good on the resume, though. It's like, I got actual screen time in Iron Man 3. I did want to say at one point it's like the strangest version of the Iron Giant I've ever seen. This basically, if anyone's not seen the Iron Giant, then what's wrong with you?
Oops.
Yep, knew that would happen.
I think your car has died.
There we go. Turn the engine on. Basically, the Iron Giant at the end of the film he explodes, it's broken apart, and then it all starts to come together, and it's the nice sort of happy Disney moment. But there's a point where that starts to happen with like Tony, and I just immediately was like, yeah, this is the weirdest version of the Iron Giant. The sequel, he just got much smaller.
I like this film because I was not expecting to like it as much as I did.
Mm.
And you know me, I'm not big on the superhero films anyway, but that's just my preference because I prefer horror most of the time. And my vampires. So, so I wasn't expecting to like it. And the thing is as well, because I'm really tired.
Makes me wonder if you've watched Blade, because ironically that crosses over then with the superhero comic and superhero comic.
Yeah, I have seen it. But yeah, I liked it. It was actiony, but actiony enough to kind of not be constantly.
Yeah, that is the. I know the director's changed. The director was Shane Black this time, and it wasn't Jon Favreau, who, for a person who claims he was able to do more with his role as Happy Hogan, he gets knocked out. He gets put in a coma about 5-6 scenes in, and then doesn't wake up until the end. So really, he was able to do more with the role. Okay, but you were able to do more with the role as a vegetable, which is not good. You could have kept directing, Jon Favreau. Why did you not? But doesn't really seem to be any difference. I couldn't see any difference in like sort of directing. I didn't feel like there was any difference. Shane Black is a good director, and he shows it in this especially. And it's enjoyable. There's some very questionable choices like sort of editing where it's just very quick. Like there's it'll cut something very quickly. It's usually during the action scenes where it might not be needed that much. Just because it's sometimes sort of like half funny, but it's a bit disorientating when you get lots of things at that time. Funny enough, one of the things that just jokingly bugged me was the fact that the Mandarin, despite the fact he's meant to be in a cave, although he's not in a cave, he's actually in Miami, has apparently got a better setup to shoot his show than I have. So I love that idea. They don't notice that his production values seem ridiculously impressive. Although it does still bug me the fact that they've not used him as like the main bad guy when they had like the Ten Rings connection set up in the original film, where they said, oh, they were a terrorist cell, and it felt like that they could have done something like that, and it's just one of those sort of things that plays in your mind. You sort of get irritated by the thought. It's not actually something that's bad. It's just a moment of irritation. I'll probably get up tomorrow and I'll just be like, no, film was good. I have no problems now because I see that it was clever.
You're grouchy because it's like
I'm
3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm grouchy because it is now officially 3 o'clock in the morning and I have just seen an awesome film, but now I am very tired from a long day.
We just spent like 3 hours playing D&D before we came to see this film.
No. You spent 3 hours playing D&D. I was in university at 10 and then was in all day sitting around being told things and very, very bored, although I was making lots of fun.
I did nothing all day, except for wait for you to text me.
But I can easily say that that people should go see this film, and if you're not a fan of the Iron Man series, there's nothing new. There's nothing that's going to make you a fan. But I would say if you're not a fan of the Iron Man series, that I would kind of want to know why.
I would disagree with that because seeing this film has made me more interested in actually seeing number 2, and I don't know why that is. But I'm thinking they're more to the degree of people who may have watched the first one and been put off by it. I think you enjoyed it slightly better because you've seen the Avengers, and the Avengers does help because that is Robert Downey Jr. playing his heart out to just be egocentric. I think my only main issue with the Avengers, and this is very understandable, was the fact that there wasn't enough time to, for characters to develop. Which I know was the problem anyway, and, people have said that. And I think, because I like to see characters develop.
Well, the problem is with that, the problem is with saying that.
Too many of them.
Well, no, the problem is with saying that, unfortunately, is the character development was never meant to come from the film in the Avengers. At least I always took it as it was never going to come from that, because obviously you have for Captain America, for Thor, for Tony Stark, for Iron Man, you have those characters developed already in their own films. Obviously, Hawkeye and Black Widow maybe needed a bit more because Black Widow's only really in one film, and Hawkeye appears for a scene in Thor, which is clever. It's good that they brought them all in. They were already there and established, and that's fine. And then Mark Ruffalo's character got some development time. But you didn't need to develop the others. And I think they did develop the characters that needed the development, whereas the characters that didn't need the development, but they left, which is fine. Oh, and for people wondering, there is an after-credit sequence. I won't tell you what it is.
No, but you made me sit there.
I made you. Was it or was it not worth watching?
I guess it kind of was, but I didn't understand it, so you might have to explain it to me later.
I will.
But that's just me, because I'm not, I'm a secret nerd. I don't run around reading all these comic books and stuff.
I've only been a couple of years. Most of my stuff is just, I just look up. I have nothing better to do than look stuff up online all day. Right, well, I will put a break in here because we've been talking about 21 minutes, going to the camera, and then using the magic of my iTouch, which I wrote down the trailers, we'll talk about them. Right, so trailers. We've got Dead Man Down, which is Colin Farrell, and I've seen that trailer so many times because it's currently playing on Blip, and I've been marathoning.
I haven't, but it looks very boring.
I swear to God, this is a weird thing with Dead Man Down. Watch the trailer without looking at it. I swear to God, Colin Farrell for some reason is trying to do a Tommy Wiseau impression, because it does sound like I'm expecting him at any moment to go, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." It's just, I don't know why he seems to be putting this bizarre accent, sort of like half French. We got the Hangover Part 3 trailer, which I hadn't actually seen before. I knew there was a Hangover Part 3. It looked good. It looked ridiculous. You're not going to watch it because a giraffe got murdered.
It was just awful. He was in this car with
It wasn't real. It was CGI.
And he went under a bridge and he killed the giraffe. And I sat in the cinema almost ready to burst into tears because this giraffe died.
Well, technically, you never saw it. Technically, you never saw it die.
I don't care. You heard its neck break.
You don't know what you heard.
Yeah, well, you...
I don't know.
It was just dreadful, okay?
I would obviously...
Don't go watch it. It's...
You've only seen the trailer. You've seen a clip. And no, I don't know anyone else who gets slightly over the top about CGI animals.
I just hate, like,
it wasn't like great CGI. It was like,
I
could
don't
tell.
care. I just can't deal with animals dying.
Don't watch Old Yeller. My thoughts on Hangover Part 3 is more of a question of, do we need one? I will admit I haven't seen the second, but I had like mixed things about the second one, that it was good and it wasn't good, so it seems interesting. I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't know if they expanded a storyline in the second one, because that seems to be what they're talking about the third. I don't know.
That something happened in the first or the second. And
it won't be the first, because the first one the first one ties up pretty
as
nicely.
Far as I'm concerned, their plan was
the first one's credit sequence is full of breasts.
Thanks for sharing that.
It's a bizarre credit sequence. What's worse is I saw that film with my dad. There is nothing more awkward than sitting next to your dad as breasts just keep appearing on screen.
At least you didn't see it with me, because I would have sat there and covered your eyes.
Speaking of frivolous need to remake films and sequels, Fast and the Furious 6.
It's number 6? I didn't realise it was number 6.
Why 6?
I don't know. I've just had enough of Fast. I can't stand Fast and
You've
Furious.
got The Rock, who appears to be... They've tried to make him look older. He looks older, but he also looks...
He's The Rock.
He looks like strange.
Ageless.
Really strange. But Vin Diesel yet doesn't look at all different, which is strange. But
I will not be going to see that.
I'd like to ask anyone, do you remember when that film was about street racing? Because this one isn't. This is now entirely something different. There was a joke in my head and I can't think of what it was.
That woman who should be dead who comes back and they kill her.
Well, she obviously wasn't dead.
That was what it was going on about. And
I don't know. She's obviously working for the bad guys.
I don't really care. It's not my thing either. I don't want to go see
six
that.
sequels. I don't understand why 6. Was anyone asking for 6?
Who the hell is still going to see this?
People. Terrible people. People that make me cry. People make me cry. Star Trek Into Darkness, which I think I've now seen the trailer for about 20 times, and I am still going. I will definitely watch this film. I haven't seen the first one, which seems slightly insulting to the series because I know that the first one was meant to be quite good.
I just haven't had the chance to see the first one.
Yeah, I will surely one day get around to watching the originals, but I know that like every like the first like you can skip the odd numbered ones because the odd one numbered ones aren't as good and the even number ones are better. I don't know how they've managed to do that. But speaking of to finish this out, end this out. Speaking of unnecessary remakes. Unnecessary remakes. The Lone Ranger.
It looked good though.
It's Johnny Depp playing Johnny Depp.
I know.
There is no difference. It's Johnny Depp playing Johnny Depp.
Except this time he's not on a boat. He's in the Wild West.
That doesn't make it better.
On a train.
No. He's just in the same purgatory he was in at the beginning of the third film. And that's just really... Obviously, that's the twist. That's going to... What was... He's the sidekick character in it. Tonto is the sidekick character. He got top billing in the trailer. So, God help the other guy. The guy's playing the Lone Ranger. I can't remember what his name is. It's something Hammer. Which I think it is. I was shook because I looked at it, I was like, is his last name Hammer? That's strange.
I like the horse. The horse that knows things and then stands in a tree. What the horse is doing in a tree.
I'm mixed in my opinion with remakes of old things. I
don't even think I've
get
seen...
defensive about stuff like that because it's...
Have you even seen the literal original?
No, but I'm persnickety to a fault when it comes to... I will say the word persnickety. I like the word
persnickety. Oh my god. I think you've got it saying.
Probably. It's 3:15.
Yes, duly noted.
But
I still reckon if we got
I reckon I'd probably see it because it's like I said, it's Johnny Depp playing Johnny Depp. It's gonna be fun.
And Helen Carter's in it, as always. She appears to be.
If this isn't a Tim Burton, I can't remember if who the director was.
I don't think it's Tim Burton. It doesn't look Tim Burton.
Really,
to me.
Really, Hannah Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp are in a film. Tim Burton start directing it. Has hell frozen over, or is it just?
I don't know. I would have known if it was a Tim Burton.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't think it is. It wasn't. It didn't even.
He's made money from Frankenweenie. He doesn't need to do anything.
Frankenweenie was good though.
I know, isn't it? Fortunately, Dark Shadows was not.
I haven't seen that yet.
You don't want to. No, don't.
Everyone keeps saying that, but until I've
because it's awful and not funny.
Until I have watched it, I just haven't had the chance yet because I've been busy. But I shall watch it and then I shall judge it.
And then you're going to regret it for the rest of your life.
Probably.
I feel like I'm giving the speech in the end of Casablanca.
Probably.
If you watch this movie now, you regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon for the rest of your life. God, it must be early in the morning. I'm making Casablanca references.
And it's raining too.
I don't care. I'm in a car. I'm safe and away from the cold.
It's always a bad thing.
I love the fact that there is no one. There is literally no one else, like no one else around. We are at the beginning of a zombie film waiting to happen.
There was a group of teenagers standing behind us before, and when we were setting up and trying to sort the seats out, I was getting kind of suspicious if they were watching us and thinking that we were going in the back of the car.
I've got to admit, when you see two people setting up a camera and sitting in the back of a car, you've got to question what they're up to.
Yeah, I know. It was slightly paranoid. But I think it's just because I'm really tired as well.
Yeah. I've got to admit, I'm glad that we came at a ridiculous time to watch a film. I do kind of wish that, considering they knew how long the film was going, because the film was about 2 hours, that they hadn't shown trailers before it and hadn't shown adverts. There didn't need to be those. Because when we came to see The Hobbit, they immediately... But The Hobbit was
like 3 hours.
Yeah, but I know, but it's a 3-hour film, and you've got people who are coming at midnight. You shouldn't be showing trailers and adverts.
I think
we didn't see it in 3D, so I don't know. It's 3D. You know, it's the standard thing. You know, you may or may not be disappointed. I have no idea.
I have issues with 3D anyway because it just makes me feel sick and dizzy, and I couldn't sit through The Hobbit in 3D. I don't know how people managed to do that. I think, I know we did it, but...
Well, no, I know when we did
But when we
sequel.
go see the
We
when we
won't-
go
I
see the
won't
next
see it, we'll
part,
see
I
it
don't
for
want to
you.
see
We'll
it in
see
3D because
But
it's
how
just
well-
not.
how well made it.
Because at the end of the day, it wasn't even worth it. 3D just doesn't seem.
It's 3D. Yeah,
eh.
I'm lax to find anything that's done well with 3D. Right. Well, I think that's really all we've got. We've gone through both bits. We've talked for a good 30 minutes. I'll give us. It's not quite as good as us ranting about Les Mis for,
But I could
42
talk about
minutes.
Les Mis forever.
but that was because I didn't like Les Mis.
Yeah, well, you didn't like Cats either. So
I don't like. That's a rant for another day. That's entirely a rant about a show of wasted potential
Yes.
and flash and no substance. I'm going to keep
That's you,
insulting it for the
though.
next 5 minutes.
But Cats was good. All the dancing and.
I will give that
singing
I will give it. It's choreographically beautiful, but however, the storyline is utter shit.
and-
That was my problem with it.
You're not getting any special attention tonight now.
And with that, I think we'll end because no one needs to know. No one needs to know. You know, I don't know if my brother or my friends will be watching this. God help me is the only word.
Sorry. But just so you know, you could, I don't think you could edit that out, but
Probably good.
well,
Yeah,
I don't know if you're gonna feel like it now because you're gonna go home and put this up.
Yeah,
straight
I'm
away.
gonna be putting this up immediately as soon as I get back. So I'm not gonna get to sleep till probably about 5 in the morning. I actually don't mind because we're putting up a video. We've come to see it at midnight. It ought to be up straight away. There's no reason to leave it to the morning. And I'm more amazed that by utter fluke I may have beaten Brad Jones to putting up a midnight review, and I'm quite happy with that. I'm also quite happy with the fact that we are going to get the new Edgar Wright film any time months earlier than America. I'm very
Ooh,
happy.
I
I
want to
am
see that.
very happy about that, and I would imagine we may do a review on that as well,
When it comes out.
probably, and that's in June.
If
I
we
think it's
can
in
come
June or
and
July.
see it in the first.
We'll put
Yeah,
we'll probably try
showing.
and see it on the first showing.
we
I
can do.
will look that up and I'll keep an eye out.
It just
I will tell one funny story. I didn't have to pay for my tickets for this film, and I am happy beyond all belief. And it's mainly because, luckily, I knew a person who goes to university with me was working at the cinema, and he basically was just like, do you want to refund your tickets? Like, okay, I'll do that. So that's grand for me. If that can happen every time I come to the cinema now, I will be very happy and will never have to spend money on buying a ticket again. I kind of wish he did say, like, was it the 2D or the 3D showing? And considering the 3D was more, I kind of wish I'd said 3D and we got to see that, because then I wouldn't have had to pay for 3D tickets. I was quite happy about that. But right, well, that adds an extra little bit. So yeah, 33 minutes worth of a review.
You can
Admittedly, 10 minutes of it was talking about the trailers and how much I hate. I'm glad we didn't get the trailer for a film called The Purge, because then I would have been able to rant about it like I want to, because it's the stupidest premise for a film I've ever heard. But I will see people next week, because I will have a new video out as normal, and we'll see you next time we do a review.
Definitely.